Welcome back to Locked On Buffs and the Locked On Big 12 crossover. We're talking all things Big 12, and the best way to learn about the Big 12 is to learn about their traditions. Drake, you are a Big 12 savant. You're a Big 12 product, if you will. A Baylor alum. Sorry, no, I'm just kidding. The Baylor Bears have hurt your feelings more than once over the past couple of years. But let's talk about some of our favorite traditions that each team in the Big 12 does. Start us off with one. We'll each give like 3 or 4, and we'll just talk about why they're funny and random and why we love them.
Well, I'll spout off a couple here to keep the attention of all the Locked On Big 12 fans. I do have kind of a hierarchy of some of the best traditions in this conference, from the Wabash Cannonball at Kansas State, which I think is so neat, to Rock Chalk Jayhawk at Kansas, to something at Texas Tech that you'll get into. Maybe the one that gets you the most emotional, the most wow, the biggest wow moment in the Big 12 is West Virginia, Country Roads. When that plays and it's a sold out, when you're in Morgantown and it's sold out, you just beat Pitt or you won a big game and Country Roads comes on, that is an otherworldly experience in college football. I talked to Roger Sherman, who said, look, man, he went across the country, 50 college football games this year, and said that moment was spiritual, being in Morgantown for Country Roads. And then I will give a little homage to Baylor University. They have the Baylor line where they allow 3,000 to 4,000 freshmen to run on the field and build a human tunnel pregame. Cool. I got to run as a kid. I say kid, like as a college kid, got to run on the field before the team came out when Baylor was a Sugar Bowl contender and played Georgia in 2019 in New Orleans. And that's just cool to share the field with your peers, with the football team. It fires you up, fires the team up. It was that same night that Baylor played Jalen Hurts and CeeDee Lamb in Waco, right? Those memories you get as a student to be on the field for that is special. And Borba, before we get too far into this, I need to tell you the worst one, and it's TCU. I like TCU more than I should as a Baylor grad. I'm a big TCU guy somehow, but Riff Ram Bazoo. Lickety, lickety, zoo, zoo is the stupidest thing. Instead of 3-year-old in front of a microphone and said, create our tradition, and the kid just mumbled, and that's what they use now. It is odd and gross, and if you ever go to a game at TCU, it kills all the momentum of the football team when the crowd starts scatting mid-game.
I honestly had to question. I was like, what did you just call me? Like, you just call me a kazoo? Like what are we doing there? But okay, so let's talk traditions that I find. Obviously, honorable mention, Ralphie the Buffalo. I think they had some issues with Ralphie this past season where she didn't like running. She just wasn't a fan of like sprinting down the field. So
me too.
Yeah, me too. Ralphie, same. Cardio is not my fave. I don't think anyone enjoys cardio. If you do, you're a sicko. Love it. Love it for you though. But yeah, Ralphie running at full speed, I think, is an elite tradition. Just because in college football, there's just certain special things where it's like, does it make sense to have a wild like buffalo on the field with 4 student managers dressed as cowboys chasing after it? Probably not. But that's why it's great. That's why we love it. And then talk about not making sense. I had to address this one, and I think it's a fun one. I tried to find the reason it started, couldn't find it. There's little to no explanation. It's been going on since the 1980s. It is the Texas Tech tortilla toss. So it started off in what I read. They would throw drink lids onto the field for some reason just to mess with the other team. And so the stadium, this is what it said, stopped throwing they stopped giving them drink lids. And then the other reason I saw was, I forgot who it was, but they said the only thing is in Lubbock is Texas Tech and the tortilla factory. So they brought tortillas and they're just going to be dishing out flour tortillas, corn, maybe whatever, wheat, spinach, whatever your tortilla preference is. And they're just going to be throwing tortillas on the field. And does it make sense? No. Is it the best thing ever? Probably. Who doesn't love to throw things? And then also, we go to our South Florida compadres and UCF bounce house. My good buddy Sergio's from Miami. His girlfriend went to the UCF. And he just says when everybody in that stadium is jumping and it's like a legitimate bounce house, like it feels like is the constructural
it is structurally unsound.
Yeah, like is it constructionally sound? Probably not. But is it the best thing ever that you're just jumping and you could feel the stadium moving? Yes. And that's what makes college football special. Drake, what is one tradition that you wish you could partake in? Like if they were like, okay, we need someone to run with Ralphie, or like we need someone to be the honorary tortilla tosser. Like what would you pick?
I want to be the guy that gets to repaint the Y at BYU every season because they always give it a fresh coat. And I think there are some things like that where it's like, how cool would it be to be in the student section at Kansas State during a basketball game, doing the Wabash Cannonball after a big win, or at Kansas, Rock Chalk Jayhawk at Allen Fieldhouse, or painting the Y at BYU. I think any tradition in Provo is awesome. One of the coolest places to watch a college football game. I've already gotten to be in the middle of a couple. The Bounce House, got to see it at about 70% capacity. And even then, the press box was shaking. Have gotten obviously to see the Baylor line and watched a lot of the unique traditions across the Big 12, Riff Ram Bazoo as well. And there's just so much. There is so much history across this league, even in games you wouldn't expect, like matchups and rivalries between Iowa State and Kansas State. Nationally, we never talk about it, but in this conference, it's just awesome. It creates some of the best moments that we get to share together that even if ESPN's not talking about it, we are, because it's cool.
Yeah, it's what college football is about. Again, I'll say that like 30 times, but it honestly is, because sometimes the biggest stories aren't always what's actually like. It's not always Alabama, LSU, or Texas, Oklahoma. Sometimes it's like you said. And then also I wanted to bring light to the ones that maybe aren't the most exciting, but like maybe they could revamp them with the new conference. Cincinnati has what they call the catwalk, which essentially is them just walking down like a little street, which I mean, it's cool. I feel like every team does that. Kansas, like you said, they have that Rock Chalk Jayhawk shenanigans going on. Iowa State has the Victory Bell. First one was installed in 1868. Cool, I guess, I just, something about live animals, something about chaos kind of gets me going. Like the Baylor line feels very dangerous. I'm not going to lie to you. If you told me there are
ACLs, concussions, constantly.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me. That's a lot of people to be running. I'm sure there's some intoxication out there. It's what makes it special. But those are the traditions that we find special, and that's what makes the Big 12 special. Drake, before you go, I want one bold Big 12 prediction just for anything. Preferably no one getting injured during the Baylor line, of course.
Oh, my bold Big 12 prediction as of today, early of February, whenever you're listening to this, Utah will win the Big 12 championship.
Okay. And even those.
Yeah. Okay.
Ahead,
sure. I'll say that. Yep. That's fine. I said it. I won't take it back. I said it.
That's a good one. Okay. I'll give one Colorado related one for the sake of the show. I'm going to go Colorado's going to be in the Big 12 conversation deeper than people realize. I don't know what point that is, because I think
November.
Yeah, we'll call it November. November. Colorado will be in the picture. Whether that means they're going to be in the title game, I don't know. Let's wait till we get there. And then for a Big 12 one as a whole, I honestly think it's going to be Utah. And if I had to pick right now who the two conference contenders are, I want to go Utah, Arizona. Like Arizona's just talking. No Fafita's whispering in my ear. Tatroa McMillan kind of whispering in my ear, and it's like, God, like what are we doing? You got a new coach. You lost your coach. Something about those two new Pac-12 programs, they're just speaking to me. And then also look out for UCF. I feel like Gus Malzahn is cooking something up down there in South Florida, or in Orlando, excuse me. I appreciate you guys for tuning in to Locked on Buffs and Locked on Big 12. Thank you guys for making us the first listen of the day. Drake, thank you for joining.
Always a pleasure.
Make sure to tune in to the Savannah Bananas. Drake Toll will be the voice of the party animals, the party monsters, the party animals, the party everything in between. They're going to be going crazy. I saw backflipping catches, the worm. Drake was thrown, hot sauce was being thrown on him for some reason. Who knows why, but Drake is going to be a busy guy. So keep up with him and keep up with us at Locked on Buffs. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a great Tuesday.